Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the bold analysis. On 20th March, Raila Odinga has organized what they call as a grand mass action, a culmination of that in Nairobi, Nairobi County. And we have seen calls from different leaders and even some members of the clergy calling for President William Ruto and Raila Odinga to bring the house to put the country into order. While those are asking, some are asking Raila Odinga to drop the push for mass action, there are also the others that also believe that President William Ruto need to have some quick fixes to some of the things that are going on. And again, we are at a stalemate because while some seems to have narrowed it down to a discussion between William Ruto and Raila Odinga as a solution, but again to the members of the public, the legitimate calls on the soaring prices of goods is something that cannot be ignored. And of course to Raila Odinga, this is the critical moment that if he is to go to a sit down with President William Ruto, he shall have betrayed millions of Kenyans behind his ideology. Now today, someone sent me an interesting video, and I want to play that video for you. It's a video of Julius Malema, the leader of opposition in South Africa, also calling for mass action on 20th March. And Kenya seems to be asking whether the two are related.
National shutdown 20 March. We don't apply for nothing. We can't apply for that which is given to us by the Constitution. It is our constitutional right to protest, and we shall protest on the 20th of March. Like Sharpeville, we're not scared of the state power. Let the state come with its power, will come with the mass power. So everything is going to come to a standstill. We don't want to see a single truck moving. We don't want to see a single train moving. We don't want to see a single bus moving unless it's taking people to the picket lines. The trucks and the trains, more in particular, Richards Bay. Those ones who are taking our minerals out of our country through Richards Bay. On the 20th, if you know what is good for you, park your trucks in your depots. Let the trains stop. Ramaphosa must step down with immediate effect. And our electricity must be returned. On the 20th of March 2023, there will be a shutdown. And it is our right. We are talking about our rights. Don't ask us about other people's rights. Let them talk about their own rights. We are talking about ours now. We are responsible for our rights. And no one can stop us from exercising our rights. Go and ask them how they are going to exercise their rights under the circumstances. We are exercising our rights. There will be no school. There will be no university. There will be no factory. There will be no bus, no taxi, unless they are taking protesters to the picket lines. There will be no truck to Richards Bay. There will be no train to Richards Bay. There will be no big roads that will be operating on the 20th of March unless it's emergency services. And we are not threatened by any security because we do this peacefully. It's our right. And if they want to come and violate our rights, they will find us ready. No one is going to intimidate us. South Africa will come to a standstill. If Ramaphosa does not resign on the 20th of March, then what will happen will be announced on the 20th of March. But we never make pronouncement on the things that are not possible. Whether Ramaphosa likes it or not, he's a mess in this
And I want us to pick a very small discussion on this matter. Listening to that, is it a coincidence that Azimio planned the said demo on March 20th, the same day as that of Malema? What do you think was the intelligence behind the 20th? If I look at the calendar, the 20th is Monday next week, which is a weekday. Yes, it's going to be a weekday, number one. Number two, it has taken like, because the other one lapsed, the lapse was on last week. It has taken 2 weeks. Between now to the 20th, what Azimio Wing are doing, they're still continuing with their rallies. And while I think that was in Migori, they also dropped some hint of maybe some product boycott, by a list of product boycotts that they're thinking of trying to roll out as part of their struggle. And is it a mere coincidence? And again, now that the two are going to happen the same day, is there cumulative impact of the mass action on 20th that perhaps only Azimio top brass within Azimio top brass are aware of? What is the hidden reason behind the 20th March mass action? Why 20th? Because it's not just a coincidence that the two are happening. And of course, the gentleman who was sending me that video was also asking me, Kevin, what exactly it is. If you look at both two are calling for step down of sitting presidents. In South Africa, Malema is talking about Ramaphosa must step down. In here, Raila Odinga is talking about Uhuru must go. William Ruto must go. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our video. I want to say thank you very much for those who are supporting us. I've pinned the person number there. So for those who are supporting this channel, that is the number up there. I've realized that those who are trying to ask for the person number of course, even in the comment section. So I've decided to pin it there. And we'll be grateful as from April, we'll start also the process of coming up with a new studio, and that we'll try to look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, what could be your interpretation of this coincidence? Is it just a mere coincidence that these things are happening at the same time? Is it just a mere coincidence? There is, in my understanding, I'm seeing some international interest playing. It's a high possibility. You know, in the last, and it is not a new phenomenon, or rather, it's not a new development in our project, in our politics. In 2013, 2017, 2022, if you look at it, you'll realize that even the last 2022 general election, Azimio na Umoja were insisting that there were some foreign powers that were hell-bent and were making sure that William Ruto is the president. That could have played international interest, that could have played in the favor of William Samoei Ruto. And of course, in that context, they only speak about competing interests. And that is why the discussion about how election management was done, there are a lot of discussions about what happened in the last general election, the narratives that have been coming out. I remember the discussion about America, and you also look at the GMO discussion that came, the GMO ban, lifting the ban that came immediately, even before the new cabinet was formed. You know, William Ruto in conformity with the IMF, and you look at it and you realize that there is some coincidence that international interest could be playing. And of course, that then puts us in some sort of a corner. Now, one thing I also see here is that the mass action, both that for South Africa and Kenya, can actually attract a global media coverage, and that will amplify the situations on both the nations. You would expect that the BBC, the CNN, and the global newsrooms, that of course we've never appreciated the fact that when they come to Africa, they want to cover more of bad news. They want to cover good news. They want to cover more of bad news and sad news. They will dispatch their teams to Africa to cover what is happening here. And at that level, it will actually amplify, and not even that, it will also help to control, attempt to use excess force on the population. That's also a possibility here. Of course, we're not saying it's a bit of preemptive when excess force will be used, but looking at precedents, I do not be shocked to see that playing out. Now, there is a narrative of failed government, and that can have an impact on William Ruto's foreign forays. I know that many people have looked at it in terms of it's not a conducive environment for foreign investment. I don't know, investors will not feel comfortable coming back into the country to invest here with the kind of the troubles we are going through. But then it also dents the image of government even at that global stage. No one wants to put his money or his capital in a space that is unpredictable. When immediately we become unpredictable, we sink into some sort of a crisis, you realize that things will actually go down. And we've always treated this narrative that, when William Ruto says, or other leaders say that our economy is doing bad and so we should not create more injury to the economy because we're already doing bad. But I don't think we've ever been so much interested in the issue of the economy. Now, if it will take an angle, because when we're in a crisis and no one wants to invest here, I was just being told by a gentleman that quite a number of Wazungus are leaving the country. And there could be some silent, some behind the scene advisories that have been issued to, that embassies are issuing to their to their members in the country. And so there are a lot of people leaving the country in waiting, in fear of the unknown. So we need to look at that. The narrative of failed government will be one that can also touch to my last point on the vibrance on opposition camps can actually swing the masses. So if the masses swing, you cannot put your money where masses are not. At the end of the day, there is something that is happening. So that's my point. I don't know what could be your honest assessment. Are we reading more from this coincidence? Or is there something happening at the continental level that is going on? Remember, we are in a country and some of these things, they don't just happen. You don't just do things that way. We have to know that there are some other deep interests that could be at play.